Hello to everyone. This is Viewpoint on noyantapan and I am Benyamin Poghosyan, Senior Research Fellow at Armenia. Today we will discuss the current stage and the future of Armenia-Russia relations. Definitely, Armenia-Russia relations passed through significant transformations, at least in the last 6 years, starting from 2018. Of course, it will be wrong to argue that until 2018 everything was okay. We all remember the problems related with Armenia's negotiations on association agreement with the European Union in the period of 2010-2013, and then the meeting between Armenian and Russian presidents in September 2013, when Armenia made the decision to cancel the signature of association agreement and instead decided to join customs union and later Eurasian Economic Union. However, the relations started to be transformed much quicker after 2018 Velvet Revolution due to different factors. First, there was steps taken by new Armenian government, including the arrest of the incumbent Secretary General of CSTO, then opening of criminal cases against the primary Russian companies who were working in Armenia, also the arrest of the second president of Armenia, who was perceived having personal relationship with Russian president, but also who was perceived to be a main Russian supporter or pro-Russian politician in Armenia. Then we had a 2020 war, which ended by a trilateral statement, November 10, 2020, and it seems that Russia came back to the Caucasus, and also it seems that Russia also inserted itself again or reinserted itself again in Armenia. In entire 2021, the Armenia-Azerbaijan negotiations, they were going mostly under the Russian mediation. And there was a feeling that, okay, first 2 years, due to lack of expertise or lack of experience or for whatever reasons, yes, Armenia-Russia relation suffered some setbacks, but in 2021, especially after 2020 war, it seems that situation came back. However, starting from 2022, there was another phase of crisis in bilateral relations. Probably the key reason was first the Russia-Ukraine war, which significantly restricted Russia's efforts, capacities and capabilities in South Caucasus, plus Armenia's decision to start negotiation with Azerbaijan in Western platforms. Here we are speaking about Brussels platform and then in Washington platform. So the Brussels platform, of course, it started in December 2021 before the Ukraine war, but however, it was activated especially after February 2022, and we all remember the meetings in Brussels, April, May, August 2022, and then also meetings in Brussels in May, July 2023. Also, there was another format facilitated not by Charles Michel between the two leaders, but also the format facilitated by European Union Special Representative in the South Caucasus, Mr. Toivo Clar, between Armen Grigoryan and Hikmet Hajiev. Most probably, the final breakdown between Russia-Armenia relations happened in November 2022, after a large-scale Azerbaijani aggression against Armenia in September 2022. So, after September 2022 aggression, Armenia officially applied to the CSTO. CSTO sent some mission here, Secretary General was there, and also some mission. And then CSTO prepared documents to support Armenia. And it was supposed the document was going to be adopted during the CSTO session in Yerevan, because Yerevan was the chairman of CSTO in 2022. And according to these Russian forces, the document was agreed between all ministers of foreign affairs, including the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Armenia, but at the last moment, during the session with the head of states, Prime Minister Pashinyan decided not to put it on the table, telling that there is no consensus and the decision is not going to be adopted. At that time, the European Union mission, a 2-month mission, was already deployed in Armenia, and also on October 6, 2022, Armenia, Azerbaijan, France, and the head president of the European Council signed the statement in Prague, according to which Armenia recognized Almaty Declaration as a base for Armenia-Azerbaijan negotiations, and then later, in May, July 2023, Armenia already agreed to recognize territorial integrity of Azerbaijan within 86,600 square kilometers, including Nagorno-Karabakh. All this followed by the blockade imposed on Nagorno-Karabakh by Azerbaijan in December 2022, almost immediately after the October 2022 Prague statement. And then in September 2023, Azerbaijan launched military attack against Nagorno-Karabakh, forced Nagorno-Karabakh leadership to dissolve the republic by January 1st, 2024, and also all Armenians living in Nagorno-Karabakh, around 105,000 people, were forced to leave Nagorno-Karabakh. So starting from 2022, and in most particular starting from September 2022, Azerbaijani aggression against Armenia and Armenia's decision to have the European Union missions in 2 months and 2 years, and also Armenia's decision not to accept the CSTO mission, but also the failure of CSTO and failure of Russia to protect Armenia, because Armenia was under military attack, but instead of military support, CSTO only sent an observer mission. Of course, we don't know what the details about the document, which was going to be adopted in November 2022 during the CSTO head of state session in Armenia. But in any case, Armenia has its reasonable reasons to complain on Russia. Also, Russia has its reasonable arguments to complain on Armenia, telling that, okay, Armenia recognized Nagorno-Karabakh as part of Azerbaijan in October 2022, significantly changed the geopolitical situation in the region, including the position of Russian peacekeepers, while Armenia argues that first CSTO and Russia failed to support Armenia, despite Armenia is a member of CSTO, and Armenia and Russia has a bilateral agreement on mutual support and mutual defense signed back in 1997, and also Armenia complains that Russian peacekeepers did nothing to prevent de facto ethnic cleansing of Armenians in September 2023. So, in the last, I would say, 18 months, we see a lot of accusations between Armenia and Russia political leaders. We see statements from Ministry of Foreign Affairs, from Ministers of Foreign Affairs, like other officials both from Armenia and Russia criticizing each other. However, it should be noted that when we speak about the president of Russian Federation, he was very cautious not to criticize Armenia, not to criticize directly Prime Minister of Armenia. For example, when Armenia officially stated that it's going to freeze or it's freezing its membership into CSTO, and Prime Minister of Armenia did not take part neither in CSTO nor in CIA's head of state's meeting, President of Russia, answering the question, stated that, okay, he does not believe that it is a boycott or something against Russia, but simply Armenia is in a very complicated situation, challenging situation, especially after September 2023. He understands this situation very well, so he said that, okay, I don't believe that Armenia is acting against Russia. But however, despite the fact that the highest level, President of the Russian Federation, there is no direct criticism against Prime Minister, Armenian government on Armenia. It's obvious that political relations are going down. And the key problem here is also the lack of direct dialogue. So, the recent 6 or maybe even 9 months, only once Nikol Pashinyan went to Moscow in December 2023, but there is a lack of contacts between Ministers of Foreign Affairs, like only by phone and some meetings outside Russia, but neither Minister of Foreign Affairs or Secretary of Security Council, at least publicly, did not appear in Moscow for at least last almost 1 year, because last time Armenia, Azerbaijan and Russian foreign ministers met in Moscow in late July 2023 to discuss the situation around the blockade of Nagorno-Karabakh. So there is a lack of communication at the highest political level, and there is a deteriorating political relations. Yes, economic relations are booming, mostly due to the sanctions against Russia and significant re-export to Russia via Armenia. For example, bilateral trade reached $7.3 billion in 2023, significant increase, and currently Russia has approximately 35-36% of all Armenia's trade over with the world, and approximately half of Armenia's export, 50% in 2023, went to Russia. But yes, economic relations are booming, military relations are at the same level. Russian military bases here still. Border troops are here. Also, Armenia demanded the withdrawal of Russian border troops from Zvartnot airport by August 1st, 2024. However, we cannot say that there is a significant decrease in military relations. But political relations are going down, and this is complicated because the South Caucasus is becoming more and more volatile. South Caucasus is a region situated between Middle East, Russia, Europe, and we see also the crisis in the Middle East. So situation is volatile. Azerbaijan and Turkey, despite all the public statements that they would like to have a peace with Armenia, to have a normalized relations, they didn't put their strategic vision to have a common border via Armenia, and they can do this only by taking part or whole southern part of Armenia. So in current situation, when no other country is ready to provide legal security guarantees to Armenia, and again, I would like to emphasize legal security guarantees to Armenia. I'm not speaking about weapons, I'm not speaking about training for Armenian soldiers, I'm speaking about legal security guarantees, which means that if Armenia is under attack, the country is obliged legally to send troops and to fight alongside Armenia. Armenia currently has these legal guarantees with Russia. Of course, we may argue, and definitely it's true, that, for example, in May, November 2021, September 2022, these guarantees did not work. But instead of telling that, okay, if these guarantees did not work in May, November 2021 or September 2022, let's cancel these guarantees at all, it would be much better to understand why they did not work and try to understand what steps should be taken that these guarantees started to work. Because again, if we will cancel simply these security guarantees, telling that, okay, they didn't work in 2021, 2022, so most probably they will not work in 2024 or 2025, so we do not need these guarantees. But again, there is no other power he's going to give these legal security guarantees. And as far as South Caucasus, Middle East and globally the world is in a very volatile situation due to the transformation of global security architecture from unipolar world to something else, Armenia, especially given the existence of Azerbaijan and Turkey, Armenia needs security guarantees. But like to discuss all these complicated issues, definitely Armenia and Russia needs dialogue, needs strategic communication, because not speaking will not solve any problems. It will only deepen the problems. So the only way to at least fix the current situation and try to understand what can be done to bring the situation from these downward trends is to start communication. Communication should be relaunched at the political level, between leaders, between ministers and other channels, and communication should be restarted and should be launched at the expert or think tank level. The strategic communication with Russia, or the restoration of strategic communication with Russia, is the only way to solve the problems, and Armenia should take steps to do that. And I believe that upcoming events in early May 2024 in Moscow, including the summit of Eurasian Economic Union, as the 10th anniversary of the Union, and also the taking oath ceremony of Russian President Vladimir Putin, is a good possibility for Armenian Prime Minister to be in Moscow and face-to-face discuss the current situation with Russian President. That's all for today, and we will meet soon.